Hey everyone, happy college football. Welcome to Porcelain Picks. I'm your host, Andrew Fabian. Coming to you Saturday morning, week 8 action upon us. A massive week in the best sport on earth. Happy Saturday, everyone. As a reminder, I lost the PTC challenge last week. That is why I'm wearing a University of SEC hat. You got all the teams here. Beautiful looking hat. For good measure, because I always pay my debts, I'm also wearing a Tennessee Vols shirt. You're welcome, PTC. Thanks for the new hat. It's pretty stylish. Might wear this around after I win some of these SEC games this weekend. But anyway, we at Porcelain Picks are here to deliver the locks you need as you scroll atop the porcelain throne. We're going to continue to do so this week. We come off a week in which we went 9-9 in week 7. We featured a couple new guest pickers in that show. One of them back with us, in addition to Joey Mack. Our record on the season is 67-65. So we've got some work to do in this back half of the year. We'll get started today. All right, starting at the noon slate, we got Georgia Tech at Duke. Big time matchup. Duke has been hot so far the last few weeks. Darian Mensah, this quarterback, is legitimate. You saw last night, though, Manny Diaz has been approached by Penn State. At least the fans think they're looking at Manny Diaz as a potential new hire following James Franklin. And if you remember, Manny Diaz has that Penn State pedigree. He was the defensive coordinator. He did a great job with Penn State. They'd probably happily take him back. Is he going to be distracted in this game is the question. You saw Matt Rule. Was he distracted last night when Nebraska went down to Minnesota? Maybe, maybe not. Will it affect Manny Diaz today? I don't think so. I don't think it's going to affect him at all. I do, however, think Haynes King will affect Duke. I've been high on Haynes King the last 2 years. When healthy, he's one of the most exciting football quarterbacks to watch in all of college. Take Georgia Tech. Right now, they're plus 3.5. I think they're going to come in and beat Duke on the road. I think Jamal Haynes is going to have a great day on the ground. Haynes King's going to get it done as he always does. This team has a couple tough road victories already this year. I think this is no different. Take the points, plus 3.5, but they're going to win straight up at Duke. Lock it and flush it. All right, LSU at Vandy. So popping over to SEC action. Not really sure where that Vandy logo is. There you go. You got Vanderbilt on there, minus 2.5, hosting LSU. First time Vanderbilt is favored in a ranked matchup, or a matchup against a ranked team, since the 70s. Can they get it done? Diego Pavia thinks so. This guy, excellent quarterback. He's very fun to watch. He's creative. He can get it done on the ground with his legs. He was close against Bama yet again. The only problem is LSU, their defense is built to defend a Diego Pavia type player. This team is rangy on defense. They've got some speed. This defense is much improved this year under Brian Kelly. The problem is the offense stinks. This team struggles consistently to put up over 21 points. Nussmeier's having a tough year. He's playing a little bit banged up. Brian Kelly was brought in for his offensive mind and to win a national championship at LSU. This game's going to go a long way, and whether that happens, it's not going to happen today. Vanderbilt's going to win. Minus 2.5, Vandy. Lock it and flush it. Commodores at home. Move along. Big Ten action. We got Washington traveling across the country. Or kind of not all the way across the country, but they're plus 5.5 at Michigan. Washington's 0-5 so far as a member of the Big Ten, traveling outside of the Pacific time zone. Can they get their first victory at Michigan? I don't think they're going to win this game, but I do think they keep it close. Damon Williams Jr. is going to be able to run the ball against the Michigan defensive front. These guys were exposed by USC's third-string running back last week, who ran all over them for 150-plus yards. More on him later. I think Michigan's a decent defense. I think they have a chance to contain Damon Williams a bit, but he will break a couple big runs on you. He's going to pass the ball as well in this Wolverines defense. It's going to come down to whether Underwood has enough on the offensive side for Michigan, whether they can get that running game going. I think Michigan wins a close game by 3 points. Take Washington plus 5.5. Lock it, flush it for their first win outside of the Pacific time zone as a member of the Big Ten. Let's go. Oklahoma at South Carolina. Back to SEC action. This game is going to be ugly. You got a hurt Lenora Sellers, or a banged up Lenora Sellers on the South Carolina side, hosting a banged up John Mateer. Not only banged up physically, but his ego. These guys got completely dominated by Texas, only scored 6 points. This offense really needs a bounce-back game. They're not going to get it here against South Carolina. Take the under in an ugly SEC matchup, 43.5. Lock it, flush it. All right. Mentioned, a little foreshadowing that we'd have guest picker back other than Joey Mack. That is the Dixon special. We're going to have Robbie Dixon with his pick of the week. He's got 2 of them this week. We're staying in Texas for both of them, although both Texas teams are on the road. It's the 2 best teams in the state of Texas. A&M starting 7.5-point favorite at Arkansas. Think about this. Texas A&M, they beat Notre Dame this year. They're 6-0. They've got a couple good wins, great offense, great defense. Arkansas is 2-4. They fired their coach this year already. They're only a 7.5-point favorite at Arkansas. I think that close defeat at the hands of the Tennessee Volunteers is why Arkansas is so close to Texas A&M in this game. I do think it's dangerous anytime the Hogs are hosting a team. Dixon thinks Texas A&M rolls in this game. Take the Aggies, -7.5. Marcel Reed and Mario Craver get that connection back on track. These guys roll, lock it, and flush it. Thank you, Dixon. Dixon special number 2, we got Texas Tech, -6.5 at Arizona State. The second best, maybe the best, arguably, Texas teams in this matchup. Texas Tech's going to roll as well. Their defense is one of the top in the country so far. The fact that they're a 6.5-point favorite at Arizona State with a banged-up Sam Levitt. Arizona State's reeling, takes Texas Tech, lock it, flush it. One of the best quotes I've ever read about a football game, Rob Dixon. Texas Tech is going to roll like a college kid at Burning Man. Take them and flush it, all right? Over to Joey Mack, our resident guest picker and Mack extraordinaire. Akron at Ball State. Raise your hand if you're going to watch this game. I don't see any hands out there, including my own. Ball State, take a money line. They're a 1.5 dog right now. The wrong team is favored. This is an even money payout. It's an easy one, according to Joey Mack. Akron struggles against running quarterbacks. Ball State possesses the best running quarterback in all of Maction. Take Ball State money line. Follow Joey Mack to the promised land, lock it, and flush it. All right, back to the wonders of the SEC. Ole Miss at Georgia. Ole Miss coming off a 3-point win against Washington State. Is this team really top 10 with a 3-point win over Washington State, a team that got absolutely destroyed by Washington and by North Texas this year? Yes, of course Ole Miss is a top 10 team because they're in the almighty SEC. I like them in this game. I think they were overlooking Washington State. I think that 7.5 points is too much. I think Georgia's going to win at home by 3. They've struggled a bit offensively, but I do think they have the pass rush that's going to get to Trinidad Chambliss. Almost forgot his name right there. Take Ole Miss, though, +7.5. I think it's a close one-score game. Lock it and flush it. All right, we're going to stay in the SEC. We got Mississippi State at Florida. I promised you I'm going to hit almost all the teams on this hat today, save for a few. We're not going to touch Auburn. We're not going to touch Missouri, although I think Missouri is going to win that game. But Gators in the swamp. You saw James Franklin get fired last week. The pressure is on Billy Napier. If Florida cannot beat Mississippi State and cannot beat them handily, you are going to hear these Florida fans a little more restless on the heels of Penn State making that move last week. So you're welcome, Florida. I think Napier's going to get it done. I think this team's going to come out ready to play in front of the swamp. I think this home crowd's going to be into it. They want to see this team win. They want to see this team get back on track, and they will do that against a terrible Mississippi State team. Take the Gators, -9.5, lock it and flush it. All right, we're going to the night games now. Washington State, aforementioned, coming off a really close game against Ole Miss. They're going to Virginia across the country. Virginia is a 16.5-point favorite. This could be the best team in the ACC. After you saw what happened in that Louisville game last night with Louisville intercepting Carson Beck 4 times, this Virginia team beat Louisville in overtime at Louisville. Virginia looks great. Chandler Morris looks great so far on the year. The stud quarterback for Virginia. I think that that Virginia might be the best team in the ACC. That's saying something, folks. All right, Washington State, they are disgustingly bad. I think they kept it close because Ole Miss was overlooking them. I think they're going to lose by at least 24 points to Virginia. So take UVA, lock it, flush it. All right, mentioned Penn State. We already touched a little bit on Franklin's firing in the porcelain audit earlier this week. I'm not going to dig into that a ton so far today. Penn State is a 2.5-point dog, traveling into one of the toughest places for them to play and for a lot of teams to play, Iowa at night. Iowa is nothing special on offense. They're slightly better this year than they have been in years past, but their defense is solid. They're going to come to play in this game. They know Penn State just fired their coach. They have this fan base. They're going to be insane for this game. They're going to want blood. They smell blood in the water. Every team that faces Penn State from here on out is going to get after the quarterback. Penn State's got Ethan Grunkmeyer after Drew Aller goes down. I think Ethan Grunkmeyer is going to have a great career. It starts in a tough fashion. You saw what Iowa did under the lights the last time Penn State came in and had a backup quarterback, albeit that quarterback was forced into the game. It was Taquan Roberson. You saw him get absolutely dismantled. He had 3 false starts that Iowa's fans actually caused late in that third quarter. Penn State ends up blowing the big lead when they had the control in that game. I think Iowa's going to try to do the same thing to Ethan Grunkmeyer. Grunk, he's got some action so far this year, but he's unproven, not in big moments. He came in for that one play in the Northwestern game, and he got stuffed when he tried to run it up the gut on a 4th down. He does possess the wheels. I think on the Penn State side, you got to hope that with Franklin out of there, they'll just have some fun. They're going to take the training wheels off with Kotelnicki as the offensive coordinator, probably throw in Kobe Howard, Tyzier Denmark, those 2 young, absolute stud playmakers. I still think Penn State falls short. I think they'll give a valiant effort, but they're not going to gain a ton of yards on the ground against Iowa. I think Katron Allen, he's going to have a monster game. I don't see it happening for Penn State. I think I'm going to fade them again this week. We'll see if they prove me wrong. I'm going to make them prove me wrong rather than make Iowa prove me right. So let's go Iowa, -2.5. Lock it, flush it under the lights. We'll continue to lick our wounds, Penn State fans. Keep your heads up. All right, Maryland at UCLA. I'm going to ride this UCLA train. I think Nico has turned this team around after they fire Deshaun Foster. I'm hoping for some of that with the Penn State vibes. Not quite the same. I think these players wanted Foster out of there. They're now playing loose. They absolutely crushed Michigan State when that spread was very close. I think UCLA -2.5 at home. They're going to have a tough time with Malik Washington. This quarterback is legit for Maryland. They came very close to beating Nebraska, but I do like UCLA in this matchup. I think they're going to win a pretty tight game. It's going to be within 10. They'll take it, -2.5. Lock it, flush it. All right, Texas at Kentucky, going back to the SEC. Texas, they got that big win against Oklahoma. Could this be a hangover game? Kentucky, they're terrible. Their offense is absolutely disgraceful. Their quarterbacks are worse than me at throwing the ball. I'm pretty good at quarterback, but they're worse than me. I'm a 37-year-old man who would probably pull a muscle trying to throw a football. All right, they're coming in off a bye. They had some time to prepare for Texas. I think Texas is going to have a little bit of a letdown game. I think they got up for Oklahoma. Arch, I think he struggled. He still struggled in that game, although they won against Oklahoma. Banged up John Mateer. I think this spells disaster for Texas. I think they get the game won, but I think they win by 10 points. Take Kentucky, +13.5. Yes, Kentucky, to keep it close to the preseason #1. Lock it and flush it. All right, now to a big couple games. We got USC traveling to Notre Dame, 20-year anniversary of the Bush Push. I was at that game with my dad and my brothers. We started to storm the field when we thought Notre Dame won. We were sitting right behind the student section. Then play comes back in. You saw it. Matt Leinart rolls around from the 2-yard line. Reggie Bush pushes him into the end zone. What an atmosphere that was, though. That was my first experience with college game day. 17 years old. That Notre Dame campus was picturesque. I fell in love with college football long before that, but that is a huge reason and really a picturesque way of why college football is the best sport on the face of the earth. All right, USC coming in off an awesome win against Michigan. They were able to run the football. I alluded to this before. King Miller, their third stringer, got 150 plus yards against that Michigan defensive front who had been so stout the last few years against the run. Jaden Maeva to Makai Lemon. This combination is one of the best in all of college football. I think USC possesses one of the best offenses in all of college football. Their defense is kind of catching up to that. You saw them shut down Michigan in that game. Michigan's not Notre Dame, but you saw USC really step up to the plate. 9.5 points is a lot when you got an offense like USC's. On the Notre Dame side, CJ Carr, he's playing great so far this year. Notre Dame's offense is humming. They have been since the start of the year. Their defense is improving since that matchup where they gave up over 40 points to Texas A&M. USC does struggle with the run, defending against the run, so can Jeremiah Love get his season really kicked off here? He's been a little underwhelming, I'll say. He's been all right. He's a good running back. Of course, he's a great running back, but is this the game that he really tees off on a rival? I like this to be a high-scoring game. I think it's going to be close. I think it might be another instant classic, not to the level of the Bush push, but I think this one goes up into the 30s for each team. I think it's a close game. That USC offense keeps them in. Plus 9.5 is the play. It's too many points. Lock it and flush it. All right. Tennessee at Bama, another big SEC matchup. Tennessee is an 8.5-point dog. They haven't won at Bama since 2003. Back when Casey Clausen was the quarterback at Tennessee. What a matchup that was. On the Alabama side in this one, Ty Simpson is having just a wonderful year. This kid is one of the Heisman Trophy favorites. I think if Bama wins the rest of the games on their schedule, he's got a really good shot. Ryan Williams, the excellent wide receiver. This guy's injured. He played last week. He was hurt. He got 0 catches. Is he going to be back for this game? Not really sure yet. Isaiah Horton is another really great wide receiver for Alabama. I think this is going to be a game that they have to get the ball into the air against the Tennessee defense that struggles against the pass. But funny enough, Tennessee, they struggle. They're the worst team in the SEC at defending the pass, but they also are number 2 in the country in sacks. So their defense can get after it. They're going to want to be in Ty Simpson's face all day. How is that pass protect going to be? On the Tennessee side, outside of that pass rush, outside of that defensive backfield, Tennessee's offense can put up points as well. They've got a great connection of their own. I talked about Jaden Maeva to Makai Lemon for USC. How about Joey Aguilar to Chris Brazell? Chris Brazell, one of the most exciting receivers to watch in all of college football. This guy is a baller. I think you got to watch this guy for the league. He's going to do some great things. Like the Notre Dame USC game, I think this is higher scoring. Over-under in this game's 58. I think we're going to go over that. I could see a 34-31 type game. And if you're doing your math at home, that means I like Tennessee to cover. Let's go to the Vols, plus 8.5. Go Vols, charge the checkerboard. Let's go over 58.5. Lock it, flush it. All right, I'm going to take you to the final pick of the weekend. Yes, you guessed it. The Holy War, known by no other name. Utah, minus 3.5 at BYU. All right. Utah have been high on these guys the last few seasons, for those who follow along. This season, even better. They got destroyed by Texas Tech earlier this year, a few weeks back. That was with a hurt Devin Dampier. He appears to be healthy. This guy can get it done on the ground. He can get it done through the air. Utah's defense is going to step up like they have been. BYU, I think they're going to struggle to get moving on the offensive side, especially when it comes to being on the ground. I think BYU is going to struggle to put up 17 points in this game. Take Utah on the road in the Holy War, minus 3.5. Lock it. Flush it. That was a lot of picks to go through. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you comment. What did I get right? What did we get wrong? For Dixon, for Joey Mack, this is Porcelain Picks, and I'm Andrew Fabian. Happy college football, everyone.